Welcome back to day 4 of this 6-day series, and today we're going to talk about why my best intentions have sometimes been my worst enemy. But before I do that, I've looked back over the past 3 days and realised that some of what I've said has, although it's got great meaning for me and I've spent a lot of time preparing what I want to say, some of it seems a little bit too scripted. And when I look back at my earlier vlogs, although they're quite haywire and go off at tangents, there's something about that that's a little bit more me. So for now, get rid of that. Basically, there's just 3 things that I've identified I want to go through. In wanting to help people, I haven't really taken a step back and looked at the best way of doing that. And I think I'll probably be finding this one of the more challenging things to deal with as I carry on, because with the ADHD it's quite easy to get fixated on particular tasks or particular ideas, and that's certainly one of the things that makes it very hard. When I first started my university course, I went to a workshop on, I think it titled something along the lines of thinking of starting your own business, and that was a turning point for me, because when I went to that I came away thinking, oh actually yes, maybe I could. And Brian Bailey is the guy that took that session. There was one thing that I've remembered ever since from that, and it was that one of the attributes you need to have your own business is to be bloody minded, and I can certainly be that. There's times this past year where I've been so bloody minded, it's a wonder that I didn't just get sacked. It was around this time last year and moving forward into the beginning of this year that I was very concerned about Phil. I've already mentioned that in this series. Phil's my oldest brother, and he wasn't in a good place, and many years ago he helped me out. So I was, if you like, bloody minded about the fact that I would be able to help him, and I pushed and pushed and pushed to try and get him to talk, and it wasn't the right thing to do. Now I've reflected on that in an earlier vlog, but that is one example of where my best intentions were my worst enemy, because it wasn't the right way to go about it. And then eventually the penny dropped, and I knew I needed to step back and go about it a different way. The main learning point for me on this subject has to come from my employment with Harvey's of Halifax. I absolutely love that business, and when I started work there I thought, great, it's a difficult time in retail, I'll be able to help them, I'm studying enterprise. And now when I look back I can see exactly what I've done. I was very enthusiastic, very passionate about being able to contribute ideas to the business, but my big mistake with that one was that I just didn't think about anything from the perspective of everybody else who'd been in the business for a long time. That made me come across as incredibly arrogant, incredibly outspoken, and quite offensive, really. I haven't only just realised that. I mean, 100% I acted with best intentions at Harvey's. I was so bloody minded about what I was doing there that I completely lost sight of the bigger picture. I have fired off emails that have made people hit the roof. I have, as I've covered in the last couple of days, I've shouted at people to the extent where, as I've already said, I was lucky to keep my job. I have done a lot of work of a lot of study to try and learn about those interpersonal relationships and how you manage those and how you influence in a positive way. I've still got a long way to go with that, but what I've learned at this point is to see things from the perspective of other people. But I think what's happened in the last couple of weeks for me is there's been a real understanding about how that process works. And I feel greatly humbled to have had that realisation, to have had that magic that I spoke about on the first day. I suppose just to finish, what underlines what I've been saying today is something around communication. And a week or so ago I had a realisation about that as well, and I was writing an email to Matthew, author of the book that has inspired this series, and as I was writing it, I wrote a sentence about having always had this wonder about communication, but going back to the topic of this one, with best intentions, we're all human and we all make mistakes when it comes to things like that. But certainly one of the changes I will be looking to adopt in myself is a real renewed focus on this idea of communication and the best way to do it. How I'm going to achieve that, I'm not sure. Which leads me very nicely onto a link, in an unscripted link, dare I say, into tomorrow's vlog, which is about learning and understanding. So once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you there. It's okay to talk.